The power of sound. Sound is extremely powerful, and it is also misunderstood and not given the emphasis and the weight it deserves, and how it affects us and affects our lives. The power of sound is ubiquitous, it is all over. We misuse the power of sound. We don't believe it affects us in any way. Its sound and frequency is powerful. It is with us all the time, every day. We listen to some calming, peaceful music. We listen to some joyful music, and we feel calmer and we feel more joyful when we listen to it. We listen to some disjointed music, something discordant. We feel far different. We don't feel too great. There is the foundational aspect of it, and then there's an individual preference aspect in resonance with our own being and who we are. One case on power of sound and how it affects us that we can see every day. A cat's purr makes us feel great. The horses, the songs of whales, we feel much better when they do. They can help us heal. In the healing arts, the power of sound at certain frequencies is used to break up kidney stones. It is used to enhance healing of bones that for some reason do not heal on their own when there's a fracture. Those are frequency based. The power of sound lets us see the ultrasound of a baby while it grows in the mother's womb. The power of sound can do so much. The power of sound cracks and fractures when there are earthquakes, the sounds, the vibrations, the frequencies. We're intrinsically connected to the power of sound. The power of sound on planet Earth, and the power of sound everywhere, as the power of sound is everywhere and sound is everywhere. The harmonics of a planet, the sounds of each planet in the solar system have been recorded. They're available to see and listen to on Google. The solfeggio frequencies align and adjust and help us in countless forms, specific frequencies. Others are disjointed and discordant. We feel the shaking within. We feel the vibrations. That is the power of sound. Sound can crack things, fracture things. Sound can do so much. There have been studies on the power of sound and how it affects water. Dr. Masaru Emoto of Japan did many experiments relating to this and has written quite a few books, again available, and you can Google it. He took high-speed photography when sound was presented to water. If they heard and felt that they were being loved or had some serenity, the patterns were beautiful. The alignment of the molecules. Where the patterns were discordant, ugly, mean, rough, angry, for example, the molecules aligned in a very different and discordant way. He did many, many experiments. The science of semantics, also available on Google. Dr. Nassim Haramein has done a lot of work on that, but he was not the only one. He was able to show and demonstrate the power of sound. Look at anything when sand is put on a table and a pulse frequency, a sound frequency is put on it, how the patterns form and the patterns shape. We humans are 70% water. So is our world. We're affected by the power of sound intrinsically. Each one has a sound that resonates with us. The sounds of nature, they make us feel wonderful and not so wonderful. There are monks in Tibet who are able to, with the use of a certain musical instrument, it is a long horn, They blow it together. They're able to levitate a few small objects. Going out there beyond, of course, none of us were there at that time, so I'll leave it at that. But there are many of native cultures and histories written. Most of them were not taught in school. But when one asks how were larger stones moved into place at megalithic sites, be it the pyramids, the Moais of Easter Island, and other sites around the planet, these cultures will tell you it was with the power of sound. Certain frequencies, depending on which one, what you look at, what you read, who you listen to, and where, either sound managed to alter and create more space in the molecules of, say, the stone, so they made it lighter to be able to be transported to the place where it is supposed to be placed, or it simply levitates the entire structure and it was moved that way. The power of sound. In our world, ubiquitous every day, when we have quiet and silence, we can listen to our own within. We can go within, connect to ourselves, find serenity and peace. When there is no peace, when there's just sound and just noise, various frequencies, depending on which one, are more or less disruptive to us. They can disconnect us from ourselves. They can disengage us from ourselves. Sound frequencies cause shock and startle in us. We find that in our world. We ask questions such as, why, with everything else being equal, are people more stressed than they were 10 or 15 years ago? It is because 10 or 15 years ago, sounds weren't this loud everywhere, and it is not just about volume. It is about the frequency of that sound wave and its presence and how it frays the nervous system and what it does to the biology and the endocrine system and the emotional systems and everything else affected by it. It changes, it shifts it. It gives us less absorption capacity when we're overloaded and overtaxed by sound. When we do things like constantly stress and strain our internal, startle, fight, flight, freeze defense mechanisms. Those have been broadly studied over many, many, many decades on the effects of startle. The existence of the fight, flight, freeze, and startle effect is a good one within our bodies to warn us of any impending danger to ourselves so that we can take action to extract us from a circumstance that wouldn't be so advantageous for us. But when these systems are taxed all day long with sounds that may occur as far as a block or two away, all day long, they affect us because those systems are constantly being triggered and challenged. It becomes a yo-yo effect, and we become frayed. That is why, together with some other frequencies, we are more frayed and stressed than we were 10 or 15 years ago. How we are worn down, how we are tired. They do cause effects such as sleep deprivation, our ability to think, our ability to do all kinds of things. They affect us in our personal lives. They're not necessary. There's technology available to not have those sounds out there, to cut them off. On certain sounds out in society, let's rather teach ourselves personal responsibility to look when we cross the street, to see what we do in traffic, to pay attention, take responsibility, or pay the price if we do not do so. Instead of stressing everyone in the name of our own safety and well-being, when another soda straw says, don't do anything that triggers those same processes, and the two soda straws never meet. Let's start thinking using discernment and using the harmonious, wonderful sounds and having some quiet in our lives so we can genuinely quiet, so we can quiet the chatter, so we can rest, so we can recover, so we can think clearly, so we can be, so we can enjoy life, be in joy, listen to the bird song, enjoy the cat's purr, and just be at peace. Listen to the resonance and the harmony of ourselves. Listen to ourselves. Be ourselves. Connect with nature. Connect to our hearts, our minds, our serenity. And just simply return to harmonious nature. We do not need random, non-harmonic, human-generated sounds that we don't know or choose to not know, depending on the circumstance of what it does to us. Let's begin by educating ourselves and using our own lives as a case to prove what a sound does to us, whether it is beautiful and harmonious or whether it is not. And let's change our world and truly quiet ourselves and quiet the world so we can hear ourselves and hear our world. Much love and beautiful, beautiful sounds and resonance and love and abundance with many blessings and people as individuals and life in this beautiful, abundant, harmonious world that could be so much more harmonious if we just think of its harmony and return to being in harmony with ourselves and our world. Much love, many blessings.